Nisiya. Nano ay nishwalan kunas lam nala. Mok siyem nisiya. En sa khol khaletse. Taniit Lyackson kunas ne. Nista mokwel. Ay kwel nishwalan kunas lam nala mok. Nisiya taniit Lyackson. Ay nishwalan kunas lam nala mok. Siyem nisiya. First of all, I acknowledge all my relatives here, my relatives from Lyackson, my relatives here, my family from Cowichan. I thank you. And I'm going to say a prayer of thanks for all the work that has been completed by all of us, working together, not so much, working with one mind. And we will continue working respectfully together to move forward because we still have a lot of work to do yet. So I thank you, and I'll say a prayer of thanks and for everyone. No, what's that? It was almost all good. Comes from so yes, those is this years. When I met this call, much mistimuch. Then it teaches him no, nicht los, nas. No, what's that? It was the limit. The much all was a kickles eat and a coats and demo. No, what's that? It was almost the come and so yes, so God, nimmer. Nicht sie nehmen es Steuer, nehmen no, nehmen es man, sie nehmen es, it is not the space land stay. Aichka. Allah Sultan, said the home wheel.
And Pahalicktun.
Pahalicktun.
Good, really good. Yeah, how about with you? Good to see you. Yeah. 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 Good to be busy. That's you. She told me. What's your name? I'll catch you everything. Well, I don't want to miss another important.
Squallow Juquel, he walked the Tautens, ya autumn, Selachts, ni imistuch the stewil, quanet system, Squallowan, Qualetza, Ticum Statium. Quanet system. I trust with the much as now much the he walks. Die twee metaal van hem te stuwen met namen. Dan is wat kwijt wat is ja is het in de kwijt die much zie het dan met hij show het ja. At this time, we'll be calling on 4 witnesses. Responsibility of the 4 witnesses is to respond to the work after we're complete. Pahalicktun, goeie naam, stam, check squaltium. Where's Pahalicktun? Okay. It's one of our witnesses. Goeie naam, stam, check squaltium. Hans Oyas, goeie naam, stam, check squaltium. Where's Bob at? When Queenak, Simnish Wak, goeie naam, stam, check squaltium. Over here, brother. I guess you're doing this part, eh?
Well, you're doing the witnesses, right? And then you'll do this part. Oh, it's Inkwa, eh?
Right, the dancers will be next, right?
Okay.
And then there's going to be a blanketing of the signers. So when they will come up and we'll call up Chief Daniels, or you'll call up Chief Daniels, Dana Thorne, Pahalicktun, Shana, Premier Eby, and Rankin.
Okay.
And then they'll sign over here, I guess, right? They're going to do the signing.
Yeah.
And then once they're finished that signing work, think that too, there's gift giving somewhere. Oh, I guess it's down here. After this,
Okay.
so I'll start. This is when I start speaking,
Okay.
after they're finished signing.
All right. Super.
And I'll do the quick words and bring up the Premier,
Awesome.
Pahalicktun, Chief Daniels, Rankin, and then I'm also going to recognize some of the people that are here.
Okay.
And then there's going to be, they're going to be able to come up and speak, I think briefly.
Oh, yeah.
Stuart Phillip and Robert Phillips,
Oh, wow, yeah.
or Cheryl Kazmer, I'm not sure who it's going to be.
So it's Inkwa next.
The blanketing of the speakers you're going to call forward the premier and the minister. Do you have the form of names for the signers?
Who?
The form of names for the signers?
Who's all signing? Chief? Pahalicktun?
Yes.
Salsal Kama. I don't know. Yuri. Shauna is
That's Dana's. Yeah.
oh,
I'm the
Pahalowitz.
Pahalicktun.
Okay. And then Dana.
Is this one.
Okay.
We're good?
So we're calling you guys forward?
Yes.
We see it as well up Nico and Amstam heights up over when I'm the needs eyes down. Nico so when you eat Mr. Eyes, you autumn chat. Nick arted at the eyes, Tananator. Calling forward David Eby, Pahalicktun, which that's a whom me well. Sal Kamad, Jacum Stack, Loquiwell. Murray Rankin asked to come forward. Sanachamak, Mitch Satechum, Imiquewa. Lachalawatsa, Techum Stat, Miquewa.
So we get blankets?
Yeah, it says that they're going to be blanketed.
Okay. Never thought of doing blankets and just have it ready. It's a lot of work though. Only did a few classes and I quit. Gone with my grandma.
Oh, yeah.
With my grandma.
Yeah.
And then Sarah Modeste asked me to do a class. Sure I can.
Yeah.
She said, it'll be easy, all knitters. I'm fine. So I got my mom to help me. Can you come help me do blanket weaving? Sure.
Yeah, nice.
So I did like 4 classes, little classes. My last one did, because they were already knitters, they wanted to learn how to do designs right now. So let me think of it. I got it.
How do your hands feel?
Not too bad. Yeah. I couldn't do wood carving because I cramp up crazy big time.
Okay.
Okay. Reset that. Strength on my engraver for cylinder. It's a compressor. Okay, sure. Oh, really? Way easier.
Some my Uncle Ron Hamilton.
Yeah.
It's the only time I've seen someone doing that work.
Yeah.
With like a big silver, like a stainless steel jeweler's ball thing. And then like that wax that you put the silver, you can embed that in. And then like the
Gouge in the way, yeah.
unbelievable.
Super sharp tools for hand engraving. But with
Yeah.
that compressor, sharpen it a little bit. That's the same trick.
Nice.
So I guess Chinkwa after this.
should be, 4 witnesses selected,
Yeah.
they're selected, that's done, then, then you announce the work, the dancers, bring forward signers and blanketing of signers. So I think, yeah, I think the Cinqua, yeah.
I guess Chris can't see too far, right? With glasses.
Who's that?
Chris Alphonse in orange.
Asiam Netsqualmo, High Tab, Gusui Iam Stucknich Qualawan. Niquasochon ye mish the shies, Niltaquet the Zinqua. Tipqualalcom, Imish Quest the Sweat Shies. We're going to be calling our Zinqua song and dance group to assist us in bringing our dignitaries in, our signers. It's a very special group that was introduced maybe back in the 50s or earlier. And we're still trying to keep it alive. We have our youngsters taking over the song and dance. It's always a privilege for them to join and participate in any kind of work. So this is very special for our youth, our group here. Gusto now. Aita pewel that well up to Nick that's in qua. Stakwa hamel shanamak the shies ni tell you well. Aita pewel. Yato side and squallowan. Tietus my names ni oyalish aita pewel. Die maat niet sjaai staalt, ja zo Pahalicktun squallowan, cause je genemet en sjaai, so die tala haitsa pewel. At this time, we'll be doing signing of the documents by our dignitaries at this time.
Yeah. Wow, ain't cool.
Isn't it great, eh?
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful work.
Yeah. First time I tried to speak was when before, and I was trying to speak and I actually cramped up muscles I never used for the longest time, being laid up in bed.
Really?
Speak was hard. Hard work. Tried again a couple of weeks later, still sore. It was up the mountain.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
When I lost my voice, I was a specialist in the Nanaimo. Always said it was 6 months away from speaking, but your vocal cords actually heal.
Mm-hmm.
They said lots of anything that
The diaphragm and everything.
works everything. Jinko after this then?
I don't know, I guess that was the Tsinghua, wasn't it? The Tsinghua they'll come and dance again at the end.
At the end, okay.
I think I'm up when they're finished this work.
Yeah,
Then I'll start speaking.
good. Alrighty, sounds good. Thank you for showing up.
Holy man, yeah, thank you for showing up.
Totally lost. What's next? Usually our floor managers are right on our case.
Yeah.
We got to do this next. Got to
Yeah.
do this. Don't forget this. Thank you. It's so dependent on them rules. Knows where you're at.
Yeah.
Did Pahalicktun when we were on Zoom when he announced to his nation that he was retiring.
Uh-huh.
That was something new for me. Holy, never done anything like that before.
Mm-hmm. How'd it go? Good event?
Yeah.
Good talk?
There was a little bit of feedback, nothing major. Personal feelings.
Big moment for their nation, hey?
Oh yeah.
How long's he been in that role for then?
30 years, I think.
Amazing.
My uncles, Arnold Sylvester, we were speaking in Cowichan. What's that mean? It says, I don't know what I was thinking. I think I could be a speaker and look after all of South Island.
Yeah.
My work was just starting at that time.
Yeah.
He cried. Worried about my relatives if I'm gone, who's going to look after them? Because you're going to have to look after them. Okay, do my best. Arnold, To not even show any emotion no matter what's going down. Swear that sometime, cuss them down. Which was it? He's also one family that does that. Immediate family.
Yeah.
Which was him.
Yeah.
Can't say nothing because some of the young guys are dancers before I ever went in. They're just reaming me out.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, nephew. Appreciate it.
Oh, my.
Not really doing anything anymore.
You move your light, your reflector,
Well, our diffuser as it is right now.
user. What is this supposed to do, Dirk?
So with the sunlight and all the leaves, we're getting splotchy light. Like
Oh, yeah.
if you look on my face, it's got like highlights and
Yeah.
shadows, and it doesn't do well for photographs. So here we go. That's
yeah.
gonna move it every now and then with the sun.
Yeah.
I just happened to have it in my car, so I thought, oh. And check TV had the sandbag. We're rocking. We got this. It's getting better because the sun's coming from behind, but we just want everyone to look good, right?
Everyone needs to cheer in some way. There we go.
I guess they can have a season hunting.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, bite to it. Yeah, bite to it.
Siyam na siyaya,
Good, yeah.
ain't the pek Pahalicktun tani stanemo, ain't the pek Cowichan tani hupachasit, ain't na shkwalo and kwanas heit sepka siyam stimo. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Doug White. My co-Salish name is Pahalicktun. My Nuu-chah-nulth name is Cowichan. I'm the special counsel to Premier David Eby on Indigenous Reconciliation. And I'll be your MC today for this speech portion of the event. Thank you so much to everyone for being here today on such an important event. There's so many people here with us today, including members and leadership from the Cowichan Nation, from Lyackson First Nation, the First Nations Leadership Council dignitaries that are here, BC government employees and leadership, Mosaic Forestry Management representatives, and more. I want to begin by thanking our elder, Albie Charlie, for the prayer and the welcome to the territory. Today is a very special day, the result of decades of work and advocacy to get us here. Can feel the emotion and the significance. In particular, I want to recognize how important a moment this is for Pahalicktun, the leader of the Lyackson people. Everyone that knows Pahalicktun and works in this area knows how consistently he has talked about and raised and dreamed and stood up with hope and courage to bring this day about. Pahalicktun, this day is here for you today. And so it's a real honor to be here for the signing of this important agreement, to celebrate this historic agreement. We're going to have several speakers today who will share reflections and words. Our first speakers here today will be Premier David Eby, Lyackson's Chief Pahalicktun, Cowichan Tribes Chief Sulsahamet, and Murray Rankin, Minister of Indigenous Relations and Reconciliation. And so now to speak more on this significant day and milestone, I welcome BC Premier David Eby. Premier Eby.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me to be part of this amazing day and for the welcome to the territory. Chief Pahalicktun, Chief Daniels, thank you for the welcome and thank you for your work on this. We're also joined by First Nations leadership from across the province. Grand Chief Stuart Phillip is here. He's here with his favorite MLA, Joan Phillip. Cheryl Casimir is here. Robert Phillips is here. Hugh Breaker and Howard Grant are here as well. Thank you for joining us. Haitsepka, everybody who made this day happen. You know, I didn't think the sun would come out so quickly after last night's overtime. But it's sure shining on us today. This is an historic day for the province of British Columbia, for the Lyackson people, and the setting is remarkable. You can hear Scotts Falls, so many people here with a profound connection to this land, whether it's to come and enjoy a sunny Saturday afternoon or whether it was hunting or fishing or community life. This area holds a lot of significance. And it also is a place where today we are realizing some real justice together. The return of lands to people who were displaced from it, and a community coming together to make sure that the Lyackson people have a place to build community. Now, I've never been, but I understand that that Valdez Island is quite beautiful, but there's no electricity, there's no ferry service, there's no sewer, there's no running water, and it's not a place yet that you can live full time, and it's not a place where Lyackson could build the community that Pahalicktun and the community has wanted to build for a long time. And for myself, you know, I think about my family. It's an important time for us. We have a new baby coming in June. There's 2 already. We think about the importance of home, a place where a base where you live, where your community is nearby, where your family is close, where you have a connection, and how important and central that is to our lives, and what it must mean for the Lyackson people to not have had that for so long. Everyone in every community needs and deserves a place to call home. This agreement today and the remarkable cooperation of Cowichan Tribes and Lyackson people, and I'd also like to thank Mosaic for partnering with us to make this happen, means that Lyackson and Cowichan Tribes both can build that community that they're looking for, can realize the vision of life with dignity, celebration, family, tradition that was long denied. I believe very firmly that reconciliation and days like today don't just improve quality of life for Lyackson, for Cowichan Tribes. This improves the quality of life for every British Columbian. as a province, our social fabric, our economic success, our sense of ourselves is all made stronger when we're working together, when we make sure that nobody is pushed aside or left out, ignored, or forced to face injustice for generations. Pahalicktun, I want to thank you. I want to recognize you on behalf of the province of BC, on behalf of all of my colleagues in government. We are here because of your vision and leadership, and your perseverance and your courage over decades. And I'm the tail end of this journey that you walked. And it is such a profound honor for me to be a part of this celebration of your work and this accomplishment that you have delivered for the Lyackson people. Congratulations to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Premier. I now invite Pahalicktun to come and share words with us today. Pahalicktun.
I want to acknowledge everyone here, acknowledge our elder for the prayer to get us off in a good way. Acknowledge our speaker for keeping us going in this process here, the ceremony, celebration, as well as everyone else. Today is a historic day. Our community has been displaced for 4 generations, and the government, this NDP provincial government, has made finding a solution to our issue a priority. We thank you. Please teach Canada how to be this way as well. We are standing on the shoulders of giants. Many Lyackson leaders before us have worked on this issue. Previous staff, previous consultants, previous council members. We would especially like to acknowledge 2 long-standing council members, Jennifer Jones and Frank Conabare. They were involved in this work for over 20 years. Right, Scott. We raise our hands and acknowledge each and every one of you for your efforts. We would like to acknowledge Premier Eby, Doug White III, and Don Bain, Minister Rankin, Heinz Dick, Chief Negotiator for BC, Ron Strangway, Amber Fox, and Deputy Minister Tim McCarthy. We thank each of you. We know that you have worked behind the scenes prioritizing this effort and finding ways to make this happen. We wish to give special acknowledgement to Doug Routley, our MLA. Your relentless support and advocacy, always finding time to talk with us, really means a lot. We raise our hands to you. To our Chief Negotiator, Pahalicktun, and their counterpart with Cowichan Tribes, Eamon Gaunt, and all who have worked with them to get us here, we raise our hands to you. To our Leadership Council, First Nation Summit Task Group members, Robert Phillips, Cheryl Cashmere, Hugh Grant, and the previous task members over all the years who have supported us on this issue. President Stuart Phillips of the Union of BC Indian Chiefs. I have been at this for 30 years, and I thank you. I think you were president before I became hereditary chief. Regional Chief Terry Teegee of the BC AFN and former Regional Chief Jody Wilson-Raybould. We raise our hands to you and thank you for your continued support and advocacy. To our partners, to the leaders of Cowichan Tribes, late Chip Seymour, former Chief Lyda Wheatsum, previous council members, Chief Cindy Daniels and her council, we thank you for your support and mutual collaboration on this agreement. We are deeply honored that you have stood by Lyackson in a way that no other communities have done. Our kinship ties, our teachings will guide us in the work we have ahead. To the chiefs around our Cowichan Nation table, Chief Elliott of Tzemanis, Chief Jack of Pahalicktun, Chief Thomas of Halal, and previous leaders of your communities, we thank you for your support. To our Halkminam Treaty Group Chief Negotiator Robert Morales, we thank you and for your continued efforts to raise this issue with us in our tripartite negotiations and other forums. To our neighbors, Chief Jody Thomas of Dididat, thank you for being here today. We look forward to future discussions with you and Tibet Hereditary Chief Livingston. We thank you for your support. To our friends and colleagues at the Chalmers Tribal Council, President Judy Sayers and Vice President Les Dorian, thank you for your support and advocacy over the years. To our friends and relatives of Wessinek, we are building our collaboration over our shared waterways, and we thank you for being here today and your support. It is great to see so many representatives from the local governments here today. We thank you for being here and look forward to future collaborations. To our Lyackson Mistimuk, to our Salkwan, our elders, to those who have gone before us, we raise our hands to each and every one of you. Your strength and your resilience has kept our community alive, has kept us motivated. Your support for our efforts over the years has never wavered. Your determination and belief that we will reestablish a village site for our community on Vancouver Island has helped us get this far, get this place. Yes, it's been a long journey, 30 years. And again, to acknowledge our Salkwan who have passed. The words that they shared with me will always be with me. So many of them questioned me, am I going to have land before I pass away? My only response I could give to them was, I'm trying my best, meeting with federal and provincial governments to make this happen. That's one of our main issues over the years, that we have a place that we can establish our houses, our health centers, our band office, our gathering place, and most importantly, our own cemetery. Today is a good day. Been years where I go home every day wondering when this is going to be a reality. And I have to say that, certainly appreciate everyone again for their commitments in working with us. And really appreciate Premier Eby here today. That means a lot to me, very significant to our nation, as well as Minister Rankin. It's been 30 years. I pressed this issue at our table, and it came to be noticed that this is a human rights issue. That's what made us move forward, I think, in a timely fashion. And so with that, I just want to acknowledge everyone again. And I do have to say that over all these years, the efforts of not only myself, but our councils today and our councils of the past, who have supported me all the way in moving forward on this process. And last, I have to say that 30 years, 30 years, it's enough. Over the years, my health has gone down. And I figured that the way I'm feeling, I know that, I couldn't put 100% in any more work. So with that, I've decided to retire from my position. I've already given notice to our office, who will be letting Indian Affairs know. And I have chosen Pahalicktun to take over the duties that I've been doing for the past 30 years. And no, she's going to carry on with these duties that we've worked so hard on, not only this land issue, but other issues as well, our health. So many gatherings that we've attended. And so it gives me pleasure to know that this has finally happened for us, our members, our future generations. We will be providing these members houses, and like I said, place to meet, place to gather, place to have someone come in and help us with our culture, our values, our traditions, knitting, weaving, carving. We have opportunity to bring people in to help us get established. So with that, again, just acknowledge everyone for listening to, I always say, acknowledge everyone for listening to my few words. Hi, Taka.
You should ask them. Never mind. Go ahead, Chief.
Oh, Siam. Pahalicktun, Siam, thank you so much for those powerful words. You can rest assured in your retirement knowing that your people and their future are going to be fundamentally different and improved through your life's work and what you've accomplished today. I want to ask so that everyone can see if all of the people of the Lyackson Nation can stand so we can see that the Lyackson people that are here today with us. Congratulations to you all, you beautiful people, Lyackson. Including the little beautiful baby there in the second row. Beautiful. Thank you. I now invite Cowichan Tribes Chief Solsolhamet to come and share words with us all today. Chief.
Yeah. Aight, Squale. Good day, everyone. It's a real honor to be at this event today. But I would like to start by thanking our speaker, Wayne Charlie, our MC, Doug White Jr. I want to thank our elder, Albie Charlie, for the prayers. Start our ceremony off in a good way because it's such a positive, historical event we're at today. And it affects so many people, so many future generations. I want to thank Council for coming to stand with me. I asked our CAO and Eamon Gaunt to come and stand. There's so many people involved to make today happen. I've got speaking notes, but I'm feeling so emotional following Pahalicktun. It's hard reading off paper after. I would like to recognize our elders for attending our Cowichan Mistimo, Lyackson Mistimo, Premier Eby, thank you. Minister Rankin, I thank you. First Nation leadership, local government representatives, representatives from Mosaic, Heitzapka for joining us. The signing of this interim treaty agreement is a historic moment for Cowichan Tribes and Lyackson. These unceded lands, which feature prominently in our oral history and hold great meaning for our families, are being returned to Cowichan. This work has been a priority for our leadership, and I want to recognize the chief and councils who have come before me, including our late chief, Chip Seymour, and our past chief, Lydia Whitsam. I really thank you, Lydia. You brought this a long way, working with Rick. I really raise my hands to you, Lydia, and thank you for attending today. Our elders have great knowledge about our ancestors who first came to our territory from the sky. Our relatives lived here at Scots for millennia without scarcity. The watershed was a place of abundance back then. Our people built innovative fishing weirs along the entire river and would line the riverbanks to use fishing spears. Scots was also an important source of winter foods, including deer, elk, and smaller game. With colonization, boundaries were created across this region. Our people were displaced, and our culture, language, and traditional stewardship practices were banned. Our community has been severely challenged by a lack of available land for development. Much of our existing reserve lands are located in areas prone to flooding or are subject to other environmental and cultural sensitivities. Now, with this interim treaty agreement, we are coming home. Lyackson's coming home and can start to realize new opportunities for our citizens. Our council, our staff, our community look forward to the work ahead of us to create a land use plan. We have significant needs, economic, social, and cultural, and access to land here and across our territory is necessary to provide for our community. One example is the urgent need for housing. Our Sustainable Housing Department has more than 800 applications representing more than 2,200 people on its wait list. We know affordable, stable, and safe housing is essential for good health. And you hear that, right, Premier Eby? We also look forward to continuing to work with our Lyackson relatives as outlined in the Intercommunity Memorandum of Understanding to divide these lands in a good and equitable way in according with our Cowichan Tribes, our teachings, that emphasize respect, interconnectedness, and working together. Ditsuatal, natsamat kwansiais, shakwai kwasa malk. Help one another and work together for the good of all. Chief Pahalicktun has made it his life work for more than 30 years as chief to ensure Lyackson had a land base beyond Valdez Island. Together, we are taking a step that will transform the future for the Lyackson people and to be part of making their mission a reality is truly special. This accomplishment would not have been possible without the relentless work of Chief Pahalicktun. Everyone who has attended a meeting with him can attest to his passion and perseverance to ensure this day came. Chief Pahalicktun, you have come through for your people. Finally, I want to take a moment to recognize the province of BC for purchasing these lands so that they can be transferred back to Cowichan. I raise my hands to Premier David Eby, Minister Rankin, for traveling here to sign this agreement, which takes a collaborative approach to address the urgent need for land for both Cowichan Mistimoch and Lyackson Mistimoch. While there is more work to be done, today is a day to celebrate. Hi, Tsapka, everyone.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chief, Cowichan Council. Now, please, if you could please join me in welcoming Minister of Indigenous Relations and Reconciliation, Murray Rankin, to come and share a few words with us today.
Thanks very much, Doug, Elder Charlie. Pahalicktun, Chief Daniels, elders, hereditary chiefs, Premier Eby, provincial leaders, regional district leaders, governance. I just want to say to everyone what an extraordinary honor it is to be here today. You know, I was thinking as we walked together over here that the whole partnership of what has occurred today came through to me. I saw Pahalicktun walking side by side with the Cowichan chief, the Lyackson chief and the Cowichan chief. And I saw the Premier and myself representing the province also walking together. And that's what this is about. It's about walking together. And what we've achieved, I think, is really historic. And I raise my hands to everyone, but of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't emphasize the leadership of Pahalicktun. I have to say, sometimes he can be a bit of a challenge. I don't know how many meetings we've had together, and I don't know how many times you've reminded me that you are the homeless First Nation. How many times you've told me with great sadness about the inability to find a place to bury people, not having a home, and the Premier put his finger on what that means to us all. And I think the word perseverance was used, relentless. I can think of other words that I won't say today. But 30 years, this person has given so much of his life to this quest that brought us all together. But I need to say, in that spirit of partnership, that Chief Daniels needs equal praise, because here we are together. We found a way to work together. There's a memorandum of understanding where the communities have come together in such a good way, in a meaningful, sustainable, long-term way, to meet the needs of both communities. And so I honestly must raise my hands as well to Chief Daniels for her leadership, and Chief Whitson before her, and the entire council for recognizing the needs of a nearby nation and coming to their rescue. But I need to also make sure that everyone realizes the work of Mosaic Forest Products Company, who are here today. Rob Goff, the CEO. Ross. Karen. I just need people to know in the audience what you've done in such short order. We put together a deal in record time in which we, the province, could purchase land from you, and you came forward in a spirit of willingness and collaboration because you also realized how essential it was to the Lyackson and to the Cowichan to meet their needs. And I need to salute your leadership, because you too have been a very, very important part, if not a centrally important part, of the journey that we're on together. Finally, I want to signal for praise Premier Eby, because I have been given the enormous honor of my life to serve in this role as Minister of Indigenous Relations and Reconciliation by Premier Eby. And I need people to know of his absolutely steadfast commitment to the journey we're all on together as a province, as a people, that journey toward reconciliation. Today is a very important part of that journey, but it's a journey that we're going to continue to work on for the rest of our lives together. And I just want to say thank you to the Premier for giving me this enormous opportunity. I get a little emotional because today has just meant so much to me after all the work that we have done together. There's a lot of helpers. There's a lot of people who don't get acknowledged. I was so pleased when Heinz Dick's name was mentioned as our provincial negotiator. I need to reference Shauna Thomas, who's just been there every step of the way with Pahalicktun. I want to also say that in the audience is a special dear friend of mine, Roshan Dinesh, who helped bring the Cowichan and the Lyackson together in such a good way. It's those kind of people in the background that is why we make this progress together. Everyone has been part of this journey together. So with that, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to the First Nation leadership for being here. Thanks to all the local government representatives. Thanks to the industry leaders that I think Mosaic represents. But most of all, thank you all for taking time to be part of this very special day. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you so much, Minister Rankin. Now, I understand this is a moment where we're going to exchange gifts. So for those that are involved in the gift exchange, please, this is the moment to do that work. Thank you. And then we're going to have a couple of speeches from a couple of members of the Leadership Council. Grand Chief Stuart Phillip and Cheryl Casimir will have a moments to give a few words once the gift exchange is complete.
Daniel, this is a gift for Cowichan Tribes. The print from Joan Thomas and a marker and a way to remember this historically significant.
Pahalicktun, this is a gift on behalf of British Columbia for you, for the Lyackson people, for all of the work that you've done together for this state.
And we're not done yet, Pahalicktun. This is a gift to recognize the announcement that you made today of your retirement as chief and your decades of work on behalf of the Lyackson people
Siam na siya, siam na shkwalakwa haid sapka siam. Just want to acknowledge the prints that the leadership has received is from Lyackson artist Dylan Thomas. And would just like to call forward Chief Cindy Daniels, Premier Eby, and Minister Rankin for Lyackson. Haid sapka siam.
Hey, Robert. Oh, okay. All right, good. I was going to check. And I think it's like what I have in my notes is that will be Stuart and then you. And that's all there is, right? Right? Yeah. All right. Yeah, reach out to you. Thank you. Okay. I'll call you up first and then Stuart.
Ushakchaklets, like matmas, like Hawaii. I don't know how to say premier in our language, so I guess I'll just call you chief. Hawaii. On behalf of the First Nations Summit, Cheryl, Casmer, and Robert Phillips, and myself, Hugh Breaker, want to congratulate the First Nations today and the province on the example they have set for cooperation and the ability to come together and achieve results. There are many tribes who are watching you in British Columbia today, and I'm happy to say that we're pleased with the results and we wish you every success for the future. Tleko, tleko.
Yes, of course.
I'd like to call Lydia Huitzum up, please. Lydia, like Premier said, I came in near the tail end of this project, and I'd like to present this Pendleton blanket to you.
Thank you so much, everyone. We now have a couple of speakers from the First Nations Leadership Council. I want to begin by inviting Robert Phillips, who's a member of the First Nations Summit Task Group. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Robert, 1 second. There's still Cowichan Tribes gifts to be given out. My apologies. Beautiful, thank you. I'd now like to call up Robert Phillips, who's a member of the First Nations Summit Task Group, to come and share a few words this afternoon. Robert?
So wait, Chukwinuk, Squatwin, as mentioned, Robert Phillips with the First Nations Summit and also the First Nations Leadership Council. And I too would like to acknowledge the Cowichan Tribes and also the Chief Daniels and Pahalicktun. Incredible. You made us so emotional. All the hard work. Premier Eby, Minister Rankin. And I just look at the chief and I'm getting emotional already. I acknowledge all the chiefs out there, hereditary chiefs, elders, matriarchs, cultural and spiritual leaders, language speakers, and the many children and youth, and as mentioned, the baby. The staff, in behind the scenes. I was just talking to Doug White a moment ago. Good work to the chief negotiators, to the senior officials, people that are doing work in behind the scenes, our staff, your staff. So important. And as well, I'd like to acknowledge Cheryl Casimir and the young U Breaker. And as well, Grand Chief, of course. No name needs to be said. Grand Chief is fine and good enough. And also, and the Chief mentioned it earlier, past task group members. You know, Grand Chief Ed John, Doug, you know, past leaders as well. I was a commissioner. Shanna was a fellow commissioner. Jody Wilson-Raybould. The names sound familiar because we all work together. And I know that through this work, it is so important that we come together. And I know Grand Chief mentions this all the time, how the Leadership Council came together for our children. That's why we came together. That's why Pahalicktun does this work for future generations on the foundation of our people. And they told him, we need land. And far too many times, government after government, premier after premier, minister after minister, senior official after senior official did not answer that call till now. That is true reconciliation, reconciliation, or whatever they call it. That's what this is all about. Premier Eby answered the call. Minister Rankin answered the call. And here you are now giving land. Oh my goodness, what is that? But not giving land, because it is land back. And we know that. An incremental treaty is so important. And here we are now on land that is Aboriginal title land. Case after case. Case after case, right to the Supreme Court of Canada. That is a fact. And we have opposition parties now running around giving misinformation, politicizing this, and not stating the facts. It's based on racism, prejudice, and it's not the facts. The facts are this is Aboriginal title lands, and we are in negotiations, and we are talking together, nation to nation, government to government. And that's what the First Nation Summit and the Leadership Council, that's the work that we do for First Nations, for our communities, for our future generations. Cooksjam. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Beautiful. Great. Thank you, Robert. Now I'd like to call upon Grand Chief Stuart Phillip from the Union of BC Indian Chiefs to come and share a few words this afternoon. And before I forget, I want to make sure that someone from Government Communications, that we make sure that Premier Eby, you're able to give that beautiful Lyackson baby a big kiss on the cheek. Even though we're many months away from next fall, we got to make sure we get that work done. Hi, Joan. How are you? Stuart, so good to see you, sir. So good to see you. Good to see you, ma'am.
You sure you don't want to
Yes.
start?
No, I'm
You
good.
sure?
Yeah.
All
You're
right.
on your own.
Why Pisnaxil Esquis Asiut? I want to begin by saying what an absolutely incredible, wonderful day this has been. It's, you know, we've been through a lot of announcements and ceremony and recognition, but I must say nothing compares to this. We are on an upward trajectory in the province of British Columbia. And every time we come together like this to celebrate another win for our people, for our children, we are becoming an unstoppable force, a force that's going to redress a lot of the terrible things that have happened to our people for many, many generations. And I'm so proud, I'm so honored to be part of that movement, to be on the right side of history. There was a time, and that's all I'm going to say about that. No, there was a time when I had a pretty pronounced frown in regard to some of these processes. And, you know, I'm so honored to be here. I've known Richard for so long, and I've admired his quiet dignity, how he carries himself. You know, he carries such great wisdom. And, you know, over those 30 years, it almost seemed that he knew we were going to be here today. You know, and he never got excited. Shanna was always the fire. You know, she was the fighter. And she would jump up and take the floor and with such great passion and talk about why this work was so important and why it was the right path. And Richard would just sit there. But when we came through that road, that gravel road, and it seemed like the trees were closing in on us the further we went down that road, that land is so incredibly beautiful. Those trees, you know, my goodness, they must have been there for so many generations. Quiet sentinels to, you know, to the terrible things, to the history. And, you know, now we're going to see a new beginning here. And it's only a consequence of what other speakers have talked about coming together. You know, it's a no-brainer. When we first met the visitors that came into our lands, that was the relationship we had. You know, there was no discrimination or racism. We knew and understood that we had to work together in order to survive. And that's what we did in the beginning. And then over the space of time, we began to drift apart. But that's changing. I think that the global climate crisis and pandemics and, you know, all of those terrible things are reminding us that we absolutely must come together in a meaningful way and work together so that all of our children and grandchildren will be able to make it through that and rebuild our communities and our nations. I want to recognize Premier Eby for being a genuine, true leader that knew and understood a very long time ago the path that we must take here in British Columbia. And I'm so glad to have known Premier Eby for the last couple of decades, to have worked with him, and to, you know, be part of this vision and this dream. The Leadership Council, you know, it's a wonderful group of people. And what brought us together, as Robert said, was concerns about our children and future generations. But what we're experiencing today is genuine reconciliation. This is what it feels like. This is what it looks like. And the more people that begin to subscribe to this way of life, we're going to have a lot better province and, you know, better outcomes in society in terms of all of the things that are afflicting us. So, I've been really touched by what I've heard today, what I've witnessed, and I want to say with the greatest sincerity, I'm so honored, Richard, to be here to be able to experience your profound success as a consequence of all the hard work that went into this and all those people that Robert Phillips mentioned. It's always easy to speak after Robert because he does all the heavy lifting. And so, don't offer something.
Why, Isquistamtion, that's my traditional name. It comes from Tsleil-Waututh. Oh, I'm just so honored to be here. And as we often say on the coast, a rising tide floats all boats. And it feels good because we're all being lifted up. And it puts to bed that constant fighting that was going on for decades. Enough. This is reconciliation, and this is the path we're on, and I'm just so honored to be here. And thank you, Mr. Eby and my colleague Murray Rankin. It's just so wonderful that you're a part of this journey. So White Limb, we're all in this together.
I have one PS. I couldn't help but notice today as we went through the ceremony and this incredible afternoon, the number of women that were involved in this movement going back 30 years and today. And, the composition of our governance structures, our councils. So to the young ladies, please, please, please step forward and pick up the responsibilities of leadership because you make the difference. Men tend to muck it up and women come along and pick up the pieces, right? So, okay.
We did Nichtalkat the Scholowans, call it Tanit the Stretch Scholowans, Clemic the Shies, Dimat Shies, Nitzlaknamet. Thanking all the speakers that came forward, sharing your innermost feelings about the process, the end result. Thank you so much. Tasik the Shies. Dat wel op nie goeie naamstem. Dalk ken ek the nie slakname tjaais. At this time, we'll be calling upon the witnesses that we call to respond to the work, please.
CM Mistimu, Asa Pahalicktun, Clifford Paul Thomas, Lyackson, Lyackson, Cowichan, Lakongan, Sangis, Sanemu, Eichweiler. Dear respected family and friends here today, my First Nations name is Pahalicktun. My English name is Clifford Paul Thomas. Most of you know me as Paul. My ancestry is Lyackson through my late father, Theoletsa Clifford Thomas, hereditary chief. Also Cowichan, my late father. Sangis Nanemu through my late mother, Joyce Albany. Today, I want to thank our language speakers, our knowledge keepers, our singers, our dancers, our warriors in government, our warriors at the national level, our local warriors, our Hiwak, our chiefs, our elders, Chief Eby, Chief Rankin, for following our Snowayeth, today, I think of my late father, Pahalicktun, Cliff Thomas, my late auntie, Marge, Chief Pahalickttun's mother, going back over 30 years ago, maybe 40. Think about my late uncle, Gordon Thomas, hereditary chief, Lyackson. This work and dream goes back to his time. And I remember my father, my Auntie Marge, having the talk about, after our meeting, that Lyackson needed land on Vancouver Island. And it's good to hear that it's recognized that Lyackson was not only situated on Valdez Island. We want to change that name. Mr. Eby, we want to change that name. Murray. But we were also situated on Vancouver Island. And I remember my dear father and my dear auntie talking, saying they would not see that day. But it was good work that our band was doing in pursuing it. Our people, Lyackson, are hardworking people. Our Lyackson are educated people. My father and his generation and the generation before, they left Valdez Island. Why? Because they needed housing. Why? Because they needed to work. And that's why I bring up that we are hardworking people. My father started working at the age of 15 with the longshoremen. So today is a good day to be an Indian. Today is like a dream coming true. Today, I almost started to cry. And I want to thank our chief and council, present council, for their work on this. I want to thank our previous councils. Frank and Jennifer are mentioned. I want to thank them for their work. I want to thank the council members that go back to Uncle Gordy's time. And I want to thank all the elders for keeping our language, our teachings, our singing, our drumming, keeping that alive. Our artists to help celebrate with today. So I thank each and every one of you for being here. It's good medicine. It's good medicine for our Lyackson. It's good medicine for all of us to have this beautiful day and this event. Hajka siyam estimo.
Pahalicktun Pahalicktun Lyackson Squalawan Haichultium. Chochoyalak, Tichumsta, Chochoyalak.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming over for this historic day. My name is Huayhuayalak. I'm from Lyackson. And Datra Mistimuch. I come from a line of hereditary chiefs too from the Datra Mistimuch was from Peter Chaltzetza. And as I told my family here that there wasn't just one hereditary chief out there. There was something like 13 big houses out there. And they all had a chief. But my friend Rick sure proved a big thing to us. Getting us a land base. And I'd like to thank him for my family. Hajra.
Aichka, Chochoyalak, Lyackson Squalawan Haichultium. Hanjoyas.
Yep, it's a good day to be here. I do want to acknowledge everyone that put this day together in terms of the organization and the logistics for everything that's here. I want to thank Premier Eby for being here, Minister Rankin, and I do want to acknowledge the work that someone else has mentioned, Eamon Gaunt, our negotiator. He reminds me of, he looks like Mr. Rankin. And of course, Shanna, who isn't afraid of anybody or anything. She'll tell it like it is, and I guess that's what's needed. You know, I knew Rick's predecessor, late Gordie Thomas. I was a young civil servant working for, as it was called then, the Department of Indian Affairs. What they used to do, what Indian Affairs used to do, is that they had a certain pot, or they had a pot of capital money, and they would meet with what was called the old South Vancouver Island Tribal Council. They'd throw this pile of money in the middle of the table, and we had to try to decide who got what. And Lyackson, because they didn't have a land base on Vancouver Island, didn't qualify for any of that funding. So I tried with late Gordie to, I told this story, when Shanna first presented this at a main table, the fact that Lyackson needed land on the mainland of Vancouver Island. So Gordie and I got together with Gordie. I spent a lot of time with him. This was back in 1975. And we tried to get some capital money so that he could spend it on Lyackson, on the island, Valdez Island, if that name sticks much longer. We tried to set up a capital fund so that he could build a wharf, but it wasn't approved. So I know what that struggle is, and to get to where we are today, yeah, we owe a lot to Rick. I knew Rick as a young lad too. He grew up in Cowichan, where I'm from. Or part of the time he grew up in Cowichan. So I know Rick. I know Rick really well, and I do want to wish you well in retirement. You have done well for the Lyackson people, and you've given us a role model to follow in terms of dedicating your life to your people. Thank you, Rick. And over the years, you know, it's my grandfather between 1910 and 1925, my dad's dad, he dealt with what was called then the land question. My dad and my uncles, as they grew older and came home from residential school, they got involved in the land question. I've been involved with this treaty-making process since 1990, 1995. And to get to where we are today, we owe a huge debt of gratitude to our forefathers, my grandfather, my dad, my uncles, but all the members of the Cowichan Tribes and Lyackson, the Lyackson First Nation, who dedicated their lives to the betterment of their people. I didn't think I'd live long enough to see a treaty, I still don't, that will get to a comprehensive agreement, as it's called. I don't think I'll live long enough to see that. But doing what we did today, getting to where we are right now, makes me feel better. At least we're on the way. And I do want to congratulate and you know, I feel real good for Lyackson. Cowichan had its struggles, but Lyackson had bigger struggles because they didn't have land. They didn't have land to build their houses on. Rick, over the years, has always been consistent in his demands that all he wanted was a place that he could put a community hall. All he wanted was a place where he could put his loved ones to rest. You're getting there, Rick, thanks to your tenacity. So in the future, if I'm asked, if I remember when Lyackson and Cowichan got land back from the provincial government in 2024, I can say yeah. I can proudly say yeah, I was there. And thank you all. Thank you all for being here. And thank you again, Wayne and Elby. And Doug, thank you for the work that you do. Thank you all for being here.
So after the last witness responds, then it's Singapore, and then Albie does a prayer for lunch. Oh, yeah, after the, okay. So after the last witness, then Lyackson wants, sure. Okay. Lyackson wants to give some blankets out to people. So there's one more, is there another witness?
Yeah. What we know. Aichka Hanjoyas, the Niklik, Siams Qualawan, Tasquel, the Nishwaqua, when Huinak. Aichka.
Right, Kassim.
Who's you?
That was a long walk. How do you put into words to describe this day? I'm Baba Kwalshimit. My ancestral name is Huanhuinuk. I'm 9th generation from the Kwalshimit clan of the Samana tribe, one of the 7 recognized tribes in Cowichan. Chief has honored me by asking me to share some words today. And I really have to raise my hands to her. She's the first one to come out to our site, hospital replacement site, to acknowledge us there. Not only out here, but in our longhouse, supporting our people, strong in our culture, always. And following her, our council members right behind in the longhouse. We had a Cowichan Mustimuk gathering. No less than 10 council members attended. We have a very, very strong chief and council when they follow like this. Although she might have come in late into this deal, I really, really welcome her to this. It's about time for what's taking place today, this reconciliation. And so many may not be mentioned, honorable mention. For those of you who have been stood up today and honored, there's still countless others before you that were not mentioned. And I really raise my hands to you all for this. You all know who you are. How many years this went back past 30 years, I'm sure, where our Salkwan, our elders, recognized that there was a future they had to start paving the way for. That foresight that they had, how that must have been very, very frustrating over the years, where it seemed like that was stalled. The requests for my cousin just to have a place for his people. My late mother lived on Lyackson, Valdez, the village that was there, probably the last ones to stay there. Yeah, they didn't have much to work with, but they stayed out there because they had no other place to really go. So I get a bit emotional to see this day as well. I feel what you feel. And although it means so much to Lyackson, it means that much to Cowichan Mustimuk as well. We're over 5,000 strong in Cowichan. We need this and much, much more. We have this to work with right now. There's a lot of work yet to be done, but let's celebrate what we have up to this day. Thankful for you not to be discouraged in carrying on what others have started. Thankful for all of you that were involved with this and seeing this through. Our provincial government heads that are here today. Thank you for having that same feeling you must feel here, like all of us do. There's not many of us that I'm sure that are not touched by this emotionally, to see how powerful this day is for us. So I really raise my hands to you, and our visitors from the Big Rock, I always say, have traveled far to be here and share this celebration with our people. There's so many of the great words said before I stood up here, so I find it very hard to to walk on any of those great words. Truly honor me by asking me to share a few words. Forever grateful for this day and to be here to witness that. And I also happen to be here to share a couple of songs from Cowichan. So really, truly honor. That's all I have to say. Siyam nishwalakwa. Aichka.
So at this time, I'd like to call upon Tsinghua dancers. They're going to do a closing song for us. And then Elder Albie Charlie will be doing a prayer for the food. And that will bring to a conclusion the formal part of today's event. So Tsinghua dancers, Osia.
Thank you to all of the coordinators that were involved, all those that responded. Thank you ever so much for your patience, your understanding, your beliefs that you carry. That first song that we sang our dignitaries in was what we call our paddle welcome song, our honor song. When we entered the village, we would sing that song so the village knew that it was the Cowichan paddling into their territory and coming in peace. The next song that we would like to share, celebration of what just happened today, is our victory song. So the song that we'll share, song and dance we will share, is our victory song. The last song will be our grand exit. Thank you ever so much.
song is Grand Exit. First portion of that song, the Safe Journey Home song for each and every one. On behalf of our Jinqua group, we raise our hands to each and every one that has come to participate and witness the work today. We much namat
Hiya, 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 hiya,
Eat up, fight it, madman, fight it.
All right, Sip Kasiyam. I'd like to invite Elder Albie Charlie to come forward and say a prayer in closing and for the food.
Asiyam Nasiya, Helmus Walmo, Misalhoyan, Konatita Konasayas Namat, Atensiyam and Schwalwan Alap, Hakush the Nata March Schwalwan, It's Pahalicktun. First of all, before I say a prayer, I want to thank each one of you that have come to share the celebration with our families, leaving a very important legacy for our children and our grandchildren, demonstrating how we as Hualmuch Mustimuch work together with respect. It's Pahalicktun. Hi, Tsepka. Kunamaks Nas, Nam, Menas, Viti Santos, Islam, Stan, Titus Liam, Tenet Titus Liam, no, nicht nimmst Nas, that no Koyam, no, that it's the Sachen, the Sasten, it needs that the Sasten, we need to come to Hollands, the Moknashwala, ours Menem, to Sahuans, we turn our house and Tomo. Nicht Christi, nehmen es Steuers, nehmen Noah, nehmen Nas, man, sieht, man, wie die Santos bei Islam steht. Heute.
So thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. A beautiful, historic day. Safe travels home. For the Lyackson Pahalicktun, you're home now. You are home. Congratulations. Thank you.